please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I wasn't entirely sure I'd be doing another Cinebear related video, but apparently I am. To do this we're going to be talking about a creator called Just a Robot. Now I've known Just a Robot since 2016, when he was in a Skype group that I was in, called the B-List. He blew up and did incredibly well in a short space of time, something which I believe he rubbed in my face in a 10k special I did, which was quite funny. I even did a video for his channel, long ago. I called him something else though because I'm a bit of a knob. He, like I, have something in common. Both of us use avatars. Now, we both also have the exact same avatar artist. Not that you'd ever know we had the same artist because he has never linked her in the video description or pinned comment, which is very, very rude of him. And if you see this, you need to fix that, because she did that work for you. For those who don't know, the channel name is SkyRoarDraws, formerly Christina Prime. I link her in my description because you should link your artists. Always. Just a Robot is a very polarizing creator, a commentator. He used to use a voice modulation thing to do a robot voice, which was very interesting and made him stand out. I believe he has gone in favor of ditching that because, well, it's a strain, isn't it? It's also time consuming. We're getting older, perhaps it doesn't resonate as well. He once lost an account because it got hacked, so he made a new one, got 100k again. Didn't you get hacked a second time? Anyway, you are a polarizing, Just a Robot is, creator. Polarizing because the opinions often come across as very rude to many. Not to me, I couldn't care less. But I understand the nature of this platform and the game enough to know you cannot get away with being that all the time. So how this ties into Cinebear is where we're going. Because Just a Robot had uploaded a video which has since been deleted, but we have it. Others have gone in on Just a Robot for this, not just for deleting, but also trying to police comments, but also trying to get others to help him police the comments. It's, yes, it's been a bit of a palaver for Just a Robot. He's had a mare of a weekend. Recently, Just a Robot had released a video titled The Cinebear 03 Rabbit Hole. It is 91 minutes long. It is quite the watch. Sorry, was quite the watch. It has been, because of backlash, removed. I had thought perhaps it would appear on the other channel that he had. I don't know if that's still online or not. I couldn't find it in a search, so I assumed it wasn't. Over the course of the past 24 hours, this video had garnered more and more negative attention. So much so that he was starting to get ratioed on the video, the like to dislike. The comments were mostly negative, and even in the community note promoting it, he got so many comments. It is quite an impressive feat to get this much backlash to a video, because his stance can be boiled down to the following. Cinebear is not a groomer in the context of the situation that they got into. With someone whose name I've just forgotten, I'm really sorry. I vaguely remember though saying they admitted to it, and when you look at it, even with the mental gymnastics they applied in their follow-up video, no, they still are. Get wrecked. A rather large glaring hole, allegedly within Just a Robot's video, was that he may not have read the very DMs that he was defending Cinebear over. When you make content in this realm of YouTube, and there are 300 pages worth of Google Docs you need to go through to make sure your opinion is correct, or you can formulate an opinion that can be regarded as close to, if not all, correct, you must consume all of the data to hand. It is time consuming, especially if you're someone like me that makes daily content, but it does ensure that when you produce your videos, you go into it as prepared as you can be. This glaring hole may be where Jar fell. I might be wrong on that. And in case you can't tell, yes, I'm being gentle, because I don't want to be angry at anyone. I do, however, want to hold you to the mark if I believe you've been a bit dishonest here. Although, as people like Chud Logic troll through much information concerning you, there is a prevailing theme when it comes to DMs with you in messages. It doesn't paint a good picture that you just look like a knob all the time. It's not a good look for any creator. I would like to believe over the years I've been fairly consistently nice, because I don't want to upset anyone really. But then I got messages from back in 2020 between you and another person, and you were not a nice person. I don't like that. Anyway, perhaps we should look at some of the evidence presented against Just a Robot. so we can be sure that he's in the wrong, unless of course he's not. Who knows? We'll get to it. So in Just a Robot's original upload, it had this little segment divider thing, right? With the intro, disclaimers, when they moved in, how Cinnabar drama started. We carry on through it. He connects it to Hopeless Peaches, Parasynical and other dramas over the years, stating how uncomfortable he is. Yes, I saw that. But the first part I want to go to is the section titled Is Cinnabar a Groomer? Where he says the following.
Cinny is a coomer, a gooner, but not a groomer. Grooming requires intent and a desire to get with someone. Cinny did neither. If you want to get with a 14-year-old, you have to be a Now Cinny makes a lot of coomer art, so there must be evidence of her drawing Shota, Lolly, or Cub, right? I mean, the signs were there in public for years.
This is where there might be an early issue, because to do this means to be pedantic on a level that is unnecessary. The fact remains, Cinny sent images of RAPE, artistic or not, to a 14-year-old Eno. There were others that were also minors, by the way, in that group. We all know this because their ages were known. To be pedantic over the art style seems redundant as well. Just want to insert that.
Just take a look at her channel. There are tons of videos where she would make suggestive animations of a minor character from My Little Pony.
I've seen commentary on YouTube that Cinnabar was kicked out of the My Little Pony community because of this. Is that true? If it isn't, I'd be surprised. When someone builds an entire career and reputation off essentially having the horn, this evidence is not going to do them any favours.
Okay, this is cut and dry, she's guilty! But the fact of the matter is, she made those animations when she was a minor herself. A lot of these inappropriate animations of Scootaloo are over 7 years old. Cinny just turned 21, so back then she would have been 14. Maybe this is just me, but I don't believe 14-year-olds who drew inappropriate pictures of characters around their age should be cancelled years later when they are an adult.
But she hasn't been cancelled for that. She has been criticised, and you could argue by extension cancelled, for sending art of a sexual nature to someone who was a minor when they themselves were a legal adult. The conversations part is another problem, because at no point should anyone who is an adult be talking to a child unless that child is direct family, okay? Otherwise, no. And they certainly shouldn't be on a Discord server together.
Problem with this is that this is not the art CC, it's the animation meme community. Stuff like this is absolutely normalized in this community. If you're gonna cancel Cinny for this, then you better cancel everybody else in the animation meme community.
No offense intended here, just a robot, but your logic here is flawed. I don't care about the other communities, I care about what Cinnabar did 4 years ago. And I don't care how old they were then, you're proceeding with your false premise and logic to try and ignore the whole Eno situation. Part of me is wondering if there is a bias involved here somewhere, because only with a bias could you come to these conclusions.
There are plenty of animations that say 13 plus or 16 plus or whatever, and the characters in them are very scantily dressed and do inappropriate things. You can have a problem with this. Hell, you can demand that these videos are age restricted, but you can't just cancel Cinny for this and give everybody else a free pass. Plus, a lot of this stuff is no more inappropriate than things I've seen in animes like Fairy Tail and Naruto.
There are a few issues with this. One, I don't care for anime in the slightest. I really don't. So I don't know what the words you used were, but apparently they're animes. Good to know. I'll make sure not to bother with them. The other issue is, you're building the premise that Cinnabar is not guilty within your video. You're arguing that those that believe Cinnabar is guilty need to maintain that energy across multiple art style communities to hold everyone accountable. That is a way of pressuring people into what you would consider, many would actually, a form of consistency. I can understand why that can then be used to frame a different argument, but I want to highlight how that is a deflective tactic. It will not work here.
Never forget what you were like when you were a kid. You enjoyed Misty when she was in her bikini, you enjoyed Naruto when he did his sexy jutsu, and you enjoyed when Fairy Tail just did a whole bunch of stuff. So just so we're clear here, back when Cinny was 13, 14, and 15, she made animations like this, and just about no one had a problem with a minor making animations like this on the internet. Hell, judging by the view counts these videos got, I would go as far as to say that people encouraged her to keep doing stuff like this. So if she grew up with people constantly encouraging her to make animations like the one she's made, then it stands to reason that she would do the same when she grew up.
I see we're still employing the deflective tactic. Okay. Well, you keep that energy up. You go girl, let's go queen. I want to move on to your segment, more stuff from the doc, right? Because that's quite important next, right?
But the thing is, as far as I'm aware, Cinny wasn't hitting on this 17-year-old. She was just cooming with them. She would also post gore and say inappropriate things where minors as young as 14 were present. Sure, this isn't good, but it's nothing that would get you that much backlash. Personally speaking, I went on Live Leak a lot as a kid, and I saw some very gory stuff. Also, in the animation meme community, gore and bloodshed is just common. So once again, your hatred shouldn't be placed on Cinny, but the entire animation meme community as a whole.
All you're doing right now is reinforcing the long-held belief by many of us older people that children should be allowed nowhere near the sodding internet, and that those parents that permitted this failed their children.
Like the fact that people are freaking out going, "Oh, think of the children," just makes me laugh so hard. If you guys are canceling Cinny for this, then why isn't Jack getting any hate? Look at the end of its video on Cinny. His avatar along with her avatar are stripping while being on poles, and this video wasn't age restricted.
I see we're extending the deflection onto others as well. Okay, so tell us about the document.
Most of the stuff in the doc doesn't really show her doing that much bad stuff at the start. I don't think having your OC in a suggestive pose where minors can see it is that big of a deal. If it was, then the doc maker would also be at fault. Also, anyone who made a video about this situation, as they were linking the doc showing images of her OC in sexy outfits, would also be at fault.
At fault for what? The source material provides all the context required to frame the right argument that Cinebear is hugely in the wrong. In your video, you do point out that some of the art shared is gore, and that it's censored because of that, not because of nudity. You're right. Although you yourself haven't seen the original images. But I think because if you look at the background, you'll notice the blood in it. I can't show it in my video because I'm not stupid. You'd know that that is not nudity based, that is, well, gore. Because some people have a weird fetish. Continuing.
But then you have things that are a little bit worse, like her saying to a 13-year-old that she's looking for a not-safe-for-work chatbot to talk to because she's horny. Maybe this is just me, but I don't think you need to be telling 15, 14, and 13-year-olds that you're horny. I skimmed over the doc because most of the stuff I saw in it was small potatoes compared to the accusation I heard about her grooming a 14-year-old.
You know where I said earlier, you need to absorb all the data. Very important. Skimming, not the right way. I wouldn't even speed read this. It takes a while, but if you are, let's say, at a reading level above a child, it will take you no longer than maybe an hour to get through, if you can resist the urge to crack one after some of the crappy anime images you were showing in your own video. This may well be one of the main parts where you failed in your video. By saying you skimmed, you believed it to be beneath you. But many people in their own videos have done a very good job of proving that that skimmed over information that you should have taken in was vitally important context. Your bias has done you very badly. Now, the next part I want to briefly show is your editor's response or reaction to Cinebear's response, before we get into the next bit.
So it's really up to you to decide which one was worse.
I'm really sorry, but
I'm going to kill myself and it's your fault!
No.
Ah!
You have an editor? Okay. There are a couple of rather important talking points here. How this somehow is about making your life harder. The ability to be able to take on board new information when it's presented and add it accordingly. Of course, that's also important. At the same time, no, we're now going to skip to the subject of what about Enno, before we get to the final thoughts and call with Cinebear, because yes, Jar in his infinite wisdom had a lengthy conversation with Cinebear, and this was a big mistake on his part.
Talk about me and the victims. My thing! and the victims.
One thing that really shocked me about this whole drama is the amount of people treating this like it's Cindy versus Jack, but they seem to forget about Enno. I think they are left out because they aren't a public figure, so most people just don't care about them.
Well, I can safely raise my hands and say I am one of those that was completely the other way. I fully endorsed covering Enno rather than Jack, because I believe that to be more important. I know that there is a lot of controversy surrounding Jack, and I'm very much aware of that. But that does not mean that Jack's voice should be any less to that of Enno, but they have to be accepted as two separate situations, with crossover, of course. By the way, in your segment talking about Jack, you do a rather good job of, well, crapping on Jack quite well, actually. It's why I didn't play it, because I thought I'd be here all day trying to just point out how crappy you handle that. In this segment, you carry on and actually cover something I've mentioned. I earlier stated bias. This is what you have to say about it.
By the way, I'm going off topic for this, but if anyone is going to try to make the allegation that I'm simping for Cindy, I'm not the one giving people $10,000. Giving money to people is closer to simp behavior than not giving them any money at all. I recall people saying poor Creepshow art during the Peaches drama, and now the same thing is happening again, almost the exact same way. Talk about deja vu. I can't believe I'm having to do the same thing I did a few years ago.
I'll happily concede the word simping is typically misused by the majority of the oikari. In this instance, you have been going hard in defending Cindy, and that is because what looks like an implicit bias. So I'm not going to call you simping because that would be the wrong word. I do believe, though, you are going defense for Cindy in your video a bit too hard, which can be interpreted as simping but without the monetary value being applied. Definitions do after all change after time. Give it enough time and simping will be changed to encompass non-monetary assistance. White knighting, perhaps, although that term already exists, so perhaps simping doesn't need to change. By the way, just a small thing, you really don't in your Enno segment talk much at all about Enno. So am I right to surmise you really didn't go through much of Enno's Google document? That was a very big document to go through, and you should have gone through that as well. There were over 300 pages if you included Jack's as well. Both documents are vitally important. If you only went through Jack's, you failed. If you only went through Enno's, you also failed. You talk about Cinnaber being a Kuma or Gruma, okay? Whether they are or not, that is. But you seem to hyper-focus on the wrong parts and frame your argument based on faulty interpretation and clear, obvious bias. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's on you, that's your pride. Nothing to do with me. So let's move on to the final thoughts part of this video, before we get to the conversation with Cinnaber and the fallout because of this.
After looking over everything in more depth than 99% of people talking about this, I can safely say that this drama was blown up to a level that it had no business getting to. I love how people would try to debunk me on Twitter by sending me the doc they didn't read. I think the irony was lost on them. The commentary community's coverage of this entire drama was absolutely gross.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think I now know why people took a keen interest in your video. This might have been the part where you goaded them into bothering to look at your video and then look at everything again to come to their own conclusion. One which, a few days later, you remove this video, you have a conversation with Chud Logic, Nick Diorio does a stream on you, you get decimated. You got decimated in your own comments section as well. I'll put that on the screen actually, because this is quite damning information, and people did not approve of what you did. They believed you were going to bat for Cinnaber, attacking Jack, disregarding Enno. You were very, very aggressive and unnecessarily so. And then there was the part about your conversation with Cinnaber. That's something we'll get to in a minute, don't worry. I think when you go into something like this and you go into it already having made up your mind or looking like you have, you are setting yourself up for a fail. One that many on Twitter are clamoring for. I don't want any creator to fail at what they do. I just want them to be honest. I want them to be very open to change and improvement, right? You made changes as a creator by removing the robot voice modulation. Totally understandable. But you've still managed over the years to continue to rub people up the wrong way, either through this very patronizing delivery or by presenting argumentation that does not resonate with the audience you have cultivated over the years you've been 8 years. You've done very well from that. You should be very proud of it. The last thing you need is to make a video that would cause your channel to tank in some manner, like this one. So let's get to your conversation with Cinebear, because we need that for this video, don't we? Oh, and as a thing for you, Just a Robot, please don't goad other creators like that. If you want some advice, that is it. If you want to play the game, even after all the years of you goading other creators, because you've done it well and you've done it for many years, of course you have, perhaps consider not doing it, because then this is less likely to happen. It's also not sustainable, especially when you incur the ire of the other commentary communities on this space.
Okay, so first thing I want to ask you, how are you feeling right now?
Kinda dead inside.
That sounds about right. Like, you seem like you've been through quite a bit of a roller coaster lately.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my first question, if you don't mind if I begin. Do you mind if I begin?
Am I being recorded?
Actually, sure, I'll ask that. Would you be okay if I record you?
I guess it should be fine.
Okay, so my first question is, did you actually, like, look at the docs at all?
The first one, yes. The second one, I didn't get a chance to. It was made, so that Jack could upload his video, as far as I'm...
Oh, okay,
I'm pretty sure it came out the same day as me making my... Like, the one that, Eno made, I'm pretty sure was made on the exact same day that I recorded my apology video.
Here's my first question. I looked at the first doc. Like, I desperately looked all over the first doc. I don't see any grooming going.
Stupid.
Oh yeah. Like, oh, Cindy had her avatar in sexual poses, and I was like, yeah. Have you not seen Naruto or any PG-13 anime? Like,
no, I think a lot of that document was just complete horseshit. Honestly, there were, of course, there were like some things that I do think were problems, like the actual issues, but a lot of it was just bullshit.
Well, I'm now not entirely surprised that you two got on so well throughout this conversation, since neither of you consumed both documents. Context is vital, and of course you can delve into the motivations if you wish, but it doesn't change the result of the content. Now, when ChudLogic was reviewing this all, your video that is, before you removed it, he caught this bit, which was tweeted out by the Omni-Liberal.
I'm public enemy number 1 now, so like, I can't make videos, I can't draw, I have no friends, so like, what do I even do with my time?
Comb.
No friends, so like, what do I even do with my time?
Comb.
Like, no, I just ended up playing video games for like...
Why did he say that? Why did he say that? Why did he say that?
This is one of those times where you get so comfortable talking to somebody that you allow your intrusive thoughts to bring something to the surface as a suggestion, when in reality, it's the worst possible thing you could say. It really is.
Question 1, let's just go in the order I asked you them. Did you take your apology down, and if so, why?
I privated it because I'm making a video kind of going over why I don't believe I'm actually a groomer.
Oh, wow. Why don't you think why don't you think you're a groomer? It's because there's legitimately no evidence of you grooming. That's why you think that?
I will be completely honest. I didn't even consider it to be grooming until Jack told me it was grooming.
Oh my god, of course you did. Of course you did. Because, like, here's the thing. I looked through both docs.
No, you didn't. You skimmed them. You said as much. We've already covered this. You determined what was or was not of value or use or importance. You went into it already having basically made up your mind. That confirmed it. I get you in this conversation. I tried to make Cinebear feel more at home, but so far you're coming across as a bit of a sycophant. For the sake of it, I'm not going to play any more, because, in truth, I don't actually need any more for this video. We're instead going to go to Twitter. Stories the Mothbird. Okay, so I found out Kumo leaked the Just a Robot Cinebear video a couple to a few hours before it was released. That's because a few YouTubers have a copy of the video and have re-uploaded it to YouTube, because if it's on the internet, it's there forever. The reason Kumo re-uploaded it is because, according to Leila Seymour, Jar took Kumo's arguments, watered them down, made a video while dumping on Kumo to grift on view from the many people that currently hate Kumo due to the Cinebear situation, which is 100% dishonesty from Jar and downright laughable. Later tweeting, here is Just a Robot asking Goblin Romantic to help him with the flack he is getting in the comments section of his recent Cinebear video after it was poorly received. Image included is exactly that. Is that Discord? It looks like Discord to me. He also brags about his toxic community. That's not something you want, by the way. Reply underneath, thank God I hacked Jar's account back in March. Adonis, Just a Robot is beyond stupid. Image included, maybe it doesn't work because he's disabled 1000 brackets crazy. Just a Robot. Then it should live with its parents and get money from the government. We have homeless people who need that money more. Reply, his parents are ABUSIVE. Be serious, why would Jack go back to his that? Reply, I haven't seen any proof of this. Reply to him, watch Birdie's I'm Back video where he provides evidence of his parents' ABUSE. This is where skimming over information and context is against him. Just a Robot, that is. You know, earlier I said the Omni-Liberal. I meant to say the Omni-Bully. I'm really sorry about that. Two different people. Just a Robot has Child S Harassment Apologia talking points in his docket. Image. The part highlighted, the things you did aren't good, but you weren't trying to get with the 14-year-old, at least from what I can see. You aren't on the same level as EDP445 or whoever else. Also tweeting, this is totally not a conflict of interest, but when you're supposed to be interviewing someone about credible child sexual, image included, wanna see my cock? And also tweeting, imagine being so bad for a bish that you're willing to nuke your online career, trying to excuse them for child that, and then go and leak the DMs when you predictably get dragged over the coals about it. This isn't a good look, Jar. It really isn't. He also tweeted, Just a Robot sets out to make an informed video essay about a woman credibly accused, and his researcher for this is the PDF. Images included, no, they're not on your side here. This isn't good for you right now, brother. It's quite amusing to me because when Chud Logic was streaming this, Just a Robot was watching. It did lead to Just a Robot going on Chud Logic's stream. It's a 10-hour stream. It's, pretty conclusive. Within that, and I found it quite funny, when Jar went on, he ended up just conceding all the points and agreeing with Chud anyway, which made Chud feel a bit sorry for him briefly. I'll play that bit now.
Your video first of all, okay? So, you have got a big issue with it being called grooming, but you accept, from in your own words, it's inappropriate, right?
Yeah, like, totally inappropriate. Like, she should not have been doing that. I never said it was okay for her to do that once.
Okay, well, I would put to you that the behaviour exhibited here goes beyond being inappropriate, and is so egregious as to not really warrant this, semantic debate over whether or not it's grooming. This person was engaging in extended sexual conversations, talking about their fetishes, and sending them not safe for work fetish art, knowingly, when they were 14, and the person was 20, and Cindy Bear's 20. Like, that's a bit more than inappropriate, and could easily constitute grooming by some people's definitions, no?
Well, define grooming.
Grooming takes many forms, but fundamentally it is engaging in behaviour with someone in order to prepare them for a certain act.
A few moments later.
Okay, but you understand, inappropriate has also got an implication of quite a minor faux pas, or a minor form of misconduct. And I'm saying this is way more egregious than that, and much stronger language is required. And not only are you not using that language, you're also trying to lawyer about the meaning of the word grooming. And I'm saying it's irrelevant, it doesn't matter whether or not it's grooming. This behaviour is so egregious that all you do when you talk about and argue about whether or not it's grooming is you give the implication that you're defending this person, even if you're claiming that you're not.
I 100% get that. I really should have looked through my video more, and I don't want people to come away from my video thinking Cindy did nothing wrong. I just want them to think, hey, I don't think this was as egregious as I was led to believe. Because
this is the problem you've got. People are not just coming away thinking Cindy did nothing wrong necessarily. They're thinking Just a Robot is a totally deranged freak for defending this individual. Does that not bother you? Does that not upset you?
No, absolutely, that does. Like, that's why I got such cold feet about this, and why I'm glad I looked through your video. That's why I reached out to you.
Right, okay. So you wanted feedback, primarily, is why you reached out to me. Is that right?
Yeah.
Goat Cato. Just a Robot admitting to being attracted to Cindy isn't surprising whatsoever. So he's biased, ableist, transphobic, didn't do more research than 90% of people, like he said he did, because that MF did not touch the logs at all. Final tweet. Stan's Girdle. Why are we surprised someone like Jar would defend Cindy? We know the type of people that he surrounds himself with. He's the type of person who will be wrong and strong, and even when proven wrong, he'll somehow find a way to still blame the victim. Retweeted by Jules the Flamer. Of course that bum Just a Robot is suddenly involved. He's the king of putting himself in drama for money and clout. One day I hope he has a big downfall. This might be it, if he doesn't realise and acclimate to his altered position and rebuild a little. Reputation can take a knock so many times, but there are very few creators who can take these kind of hits and bounce back over and over again. When I did a video for you, Just a Robot, I did it covering somebody who was going in on you, so I was defending you. Over the years though, you have repeatedly gotten into these situations. As far as this situation goes, you came to the party late, but you brought something different with you. The problem you have is, what you brought was so poorly received you had to quickly scorched earth, and you failed because 2 people have already uploaded it to their channels. And then when you were given a chance to debate, discuss, go through it, you just conceded everything. When you make content like you do, the 3 things you must always abide are things I regularly tell people to do. Prepare, practice, and perform. To prepare, you must do the research. To practice, you must script it. To perform is to put that bloody robot voice back on. I'm kidding, don't bother it. And seriously, put Skyraw Draws back in the description of your videos. In fact, go back through all your videos and do it because you're still using her avatar that she made. Ta-ta everyone.